Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A show. I am Jason Avant, former Philadelphia Eagle, and I'm here with my main man, Quintin Mikell, one of the best safeties in Eagles history. Tell him what's up, Q.
What's up? What's up, man? I love your intros, man. You make me feel like I'm coming out the tunnel, man. Like not
Let's
like dog,
go.
nothing like dog, but something close, man. Like
Let's go.
let's
As
go,
long as you
let's
get
go,
hype.
let's
As long as we hype.
go.
The
Good to see you,
Eagles,
my man. Good to see you, buddy.
always good to see you, fam. The Eagles win a closer game than most people anticipated, 20-16 against the Cleveland Browns. Eagles had a lot of hiccups, but let's talk about a few things. But before we get there, I want to say thank you to Adam, to Jeff, to Josh, everyone behind the scenes at Inside the Birds. Thank you guys for the opportunity. And thank you to the fans that tune in. We appreciate everything that you guys do and continue to email your questions to insidethebirds at gmail.com. Insidethebirds at gmail.com. Access as many questions as you guys want. There's a lot of questions here on the podcast today, and we'll get to those a little bit later. Q, let's talk about this. Players always say that a win is a win. That's the one thing that you'll hear players and coaches say. A win is a win. But how do you feel about this win? Do you think this was a quality win, or you think this was just how you feel?
uh, Listen, man. To me, a win is a win. I'll take it, and the reason why I'll take it is, um, you got first of all, the Brown. Listen, the Browns' offense is atrocious right now, but they have a pretty good defense. Now the Eagles are coming off a bye week, right? So you're expecting a little more explosiveness. You're expecting um, the game to just look more in hand by this team, especially with
Mm-hmm.
all these offensive weapons that we have. But they don't come easy, right? They don't come easy. They get
Mm-hmm.
paid over there too, you know. So I'll take a win, and obviously there's a lot that can get better. But you know what's funny, man? Like when you watch, so if you watch the game, like the regular broadcast, like I remember watching it and watching it live, I'm like, God, this game they just look terrible. But then when you watch the all 22 and you take everything out and you're just watching the game and the scheme and you're watching the play calls and you're seeing everything as it's kind of unfolding. It looks a little bit better to me. So to me, I'll take it. A win is a win. Let's put this one away, start building for the next one. So I'll take it.
The question was, is a win a win? Is there a quality win, and so on and so forth? Not so fast, my friends. It's not. A win is not a win. Not in this league. You can get a win and everyone is happy for a win, but the way you win and the way you play means a lot. And the same is true if you lose. If you lose a game where you played extremely well and then some player makes some extraordinary play in order to beat you or has an outstanding game, you can live with that a little bit more. And sort of like the Ravens earlier in the season, they were 0 for 2 starting out in the season, but they were playing well and they made a few mistakes. So you knew the team was going to get better. And guess what? They begin to get better and hadn't lost since. The same thing is true with the Eagles. This is not a good win. It's a win, and we're grateful for wins, but we got to play a lot better against this football team. And we left a lot of points out there. We allow Deshaun Watson, who's been playing horrible, to go 10 for 10 to start the second half. Like, how does that happen? It just shouldn't happen. So there's a lot of things that we got to clean up. And special teams, come on, man.
Yeah.
We don't need to know about the special teams unless it's good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you're not going to be dynamic on special teams, we should not hear about you. Positively or negative, we shouldn't hear anything about you, right? But to
I agree.
go
Yeah.
almost 3 straight games or whatever it's been, the Saints game, you give up a block punt, then you go into the last ball game and you give up a muff punt return, and then you get a field goal block. Come on, man. Something got to happen over there. Coach Clay got to do something a little bit different. and make sure the team has the emphasis there. So no, a win is not a win, and I don't like it. All right,
In his defense, though, it's kind of hard to plan for a 6'6" monster jumping over your line and blocking the ball.
you and I had John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
John Harbaugh on clips would have shown all the punt blocks, all the field goal blocks, all of it. That is not an excuse because he has done that before. If he has gotten any block, and any block has been on that happened with that team in the last 10 years, we would have saw it.
fair
Hey,
enough.
remember they did that in 1992? They could possibly do it again. That's what coaches do. So no, I am not giving that an excuse. I am not giving that because as a player, your special team coach, and all your coaches, it's his job to show you those outliers and players like Myles Garrett. He's done it before. He's just done it last year. Come on,
Fair enough. Fair
am I
enough.
lying?
You're not. You're not.
All right, all right, all right. Q. First topic, we're going to go with Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni had some bizarre dealings with the fans. People think they were just booing Nick Sirianni. They weren't booing him. They were chanting fire Sirianni. That's what they were chanting. Yeah, there was some boos, and they had boos throughout the game when they weren't playing well, and that's normal of any Lincoln Financial Field. That's normal. Any Eagles fan, that's normal. But they had the fire Sirianni stuff, and he took exception to that and wants to defend, I guess, his honor and begin to bicker back and forth with the fans. He followed that up with a press conference in which all of his kids are in the press conference. And then he gave us a long spiel about how much he loves football. And, he didn't answer questions straight up, especially when it came to starting fast. And he was going on long tangents, sort of like I'm doing right now, just to explain this. But tell me your thoughts and your impressions on that whole ordeal, because the city of Philadelphia is pretty pissed about the Sirianni situation, and the national media and a lot of the pundits there are talking about this. And I think it's created some type of firestorm for Nick and the PR team there, Bob Lane, Brett Strosacker for the Eagles.
Listen, man, I loved it. I loved it. You know what, man? Sometimes it's good to give the fans what they give to us. Give it back to them. You know what? Let's y'all boo at the players and the coaches all the time. You know what? He gave something back to you. So honestly, so here's my thing, right? This is why I loved it. Now, obviously, you just beat a terrible team by 4 points. Like normally, in normal situations, I'd be like, "What the heck are you doing?" But to me, this is the Nick Sirianni. This is him being himself, right? This is him at least trying to get back to himself. He didn't look like himself early in the year. He got his play calling duties stripped away. Brought in a veteran defensive coordinator. You got bringing in people to the roster, all these different moves. So he probably feels like he has no control except for on game day. And really, on game day, all he's really doing is managing the clock, managing the team. So how can he affect the game in some kind of way? And that's just him being himself, right? Going out there talking trash, firing guys up. Like that's why I love this. Seems like he's getting back to his comfort zone. He's getting back to who he is. He's getting back to just creating some competition, some controversy, just something to light this team's fire, something to get this team going. Because let's be honest, man, looking at this roster, leader wise, and I'm talking like vocal guys that are gonna, get the team amped up. I'm looking at the roster right now, and you got maybe
Garner
BG,
Johnson.
you got BG. That's
Garner
about it.
Johnson.
Brian Johnson.
No, Garner Johnson, CJ.
Okay, you got
CJ.
CJ. All right, so the two guys on defense. Jalen Hurts is a leader. I think he's a phenomenal leader. He's just not a vocal, amp you up type of leader. And, one of the things that bothers me a little bit about Jalen is when things aren't perfect, things aren't great. I don't want to say he's mopey, but he's just kind of like, he's emotionless, like, not, you're like kind of nothing. So I think that what Nick is trying to do, or at least I'm hoping that he's trying to do, is kind of pick up the slack in that emotional part of the game and
I
just,
think
you
AJ
know,
is that guy.
get guys fired up. Who? AJ,
AJ
yeah,
Brown.
AJ, yes, I agree. He's been gone for like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I loved it. I hope he keeps doing it. Just get animated. Be back to being yourself, man. Have some fun. We don't live for a long time. Have fun out there, man. Just go out there and have fun. I loved it. I loved it.
For first two topics, I vehemently disagree. I vehemently disagree. Let me tell you why. You can't beat the fans. You can't.
True.
You're fighting there. That's a losing battle everywhere in the United States of America. You can't beat them, right? And at
Very
some
true.
point, you as the coach have to take the high road, especially against our fans. If it was the opposing fans, okay, that's what Nick Sirianni does. All right, bye, bye, bye. He talked to Rodney McLeod on the sideline in that game. Okay, that's fine. That's what Nick Sirianni does. He talks a little crap. He's not going to get hit. He's going to cheer from the sideline, do all that, and he still wants to be a part of the game. You do it. That fires up your team. Okay, whatever. But against our fans, now here's the thing. Here's the thing about it. Nick Sirianni shows at times that he doesn't always have control of his emotions.
Very true.
Okay. What happened to Jalen Carter after the Saints game? There was scuffles. Nobody could be able to control him. How the hell are you going to tell Jalen Carter to calm down if you can't calm down?
Fair enough.
Right. So the head coach has to be in control of his emotions. And yes, some of the players are going to champion that. Oh, that's just Nick Sirianni being Nick Sirianni. Okay. If that's what you want to do. But listen, if you dish it out, you got to be able to take it. So when the media comes in and asks you questions about it, answer it straight up. Don't get there and put the kids up there and hope for that they make it softer on you. Don't give us some spiel about, man, this is just passion and I love football and all that stuff. That's a smack in my face because listen, if I'm a fan, me booing you or me saying whatever I'm saying in those moments, I'm saying it because I love football. And you know how much I love football? I didn't pay $50 for beer and a hot dog. I stayed here until the end of the game. And I've waited 2 hours in a parking lot just to get the 95. I love the game too. I'm not questioning how much you love the game at all. I'm just questioning that do you have control of this team? And based on what the team has done thus far, there's changes that has to take place. Not saying that Nick Sirianni should be fired. What I'm saying is that the offense has to be more consistent. The defense has to be able to tackle a lot better, and they have to be able to stop freaking Deshaun Watson going 10 for 10 to start the second half.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm saying don't get into a battle with a group that you can never beat. That's just not smart at all. That's as smart as going for it on a fourth down situation right before halftime in the Saints game. Like it's like none of this stuff makes sense, and that makes you question. Okay, where's this guy at when it comes to just all of it being there? That's what
Yeah,
this does. It makes you question.
but they were
Like,
saying
does
fire
he?
fire him though, man.
No. I'm not saying fire him. What I'm saying is this: is that I don't know if I can trust his judgment. If his judgment is to go up and argue with the fans, how do I trust that dude on a 4th and 1? Because I know his emotions are in it, rather than looking at the totality of the game.
Fair. That's fair.
That's all I'm saying. All right.
I'm just saying, listen, man, wherever I work, if you show up at my place and you talk about fire Quintin Mikell, you know what? I ain't get fired. We won the game. Now fire that.
Here's the other thing. We won by 4 against the Browns. Are you talking junk? I can see if you went out there and did what the Lions did to the Cowboys, and now you look up at the fans and be like, you know what? All right, 4 against the Browns, bro. If you don't sit your ass down, man, talk it now. Fire Nick Sirianni now, boy. Come on,
You got to read the room, right?
man. And this, like I said, if it was the Lions versus Cowboys last night, 47-9,
Oh
that's
man,
a whole different story than looking sloppy and check this out. Winning the game throwing the ball with a timeout on second down with the game on the line, and AJ Brown making a tough wait till the ball gets to his stomach contested catch. Only a few people in NFL is going to make that catch consistently.
Yeah.
You have one of them, and his ability secured the game, but that was not a good decision.
No, I agree.
Come on. All right, we can go down that path a little bit.
Okay. All right.
All right, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. Before we move on, can we just, because since you mentioned it, can we have a moment of silence for the Dallas Cowboy fans? Thank you. That was great. Oh man, they were throwing touchdowns to linemen and running screens to.
Listen, they were pissed off about the way the NFL cheated them last year versus the Cowboys, and the two people reporting eligible and that whole situation, and all the Cowboys fans talking stuff and them going back and forth, Amon-Ra and Michael Parsons and all that stuff. They saved it. They circled the game and was like, we're gonna beat the hell out of them come, November 13th. Come November 13th, 2024, we're gonna beat. And man, the only thing I hated about the whole thing was Aiden Hutchinson was having an MVP season.
Oh man,
and was going and went down late in that game. But man,
doggone.
But other than that, they were out there showing their butt. They were out there mooning the fans. Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, Ben Johnson, they were out there mooning them.
Oh, I love to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
There you go.
Okay. All right, topic 2, man. Let's talk about the offense and defense. Mm-hmm. Lane Johnson said that the offense looks constipated. Ooh. The Eagles had 372 yards. Got 2 big catches from AJ and 1 from Devontae. All right, so Jay, do you agree with Lane? Were you impressed by the offense, or were you kind of feeling like it was constipated as well?
Definitely. Here's the thing. Let me give you all of my positives about the offense. All of my positives about the offense. Positive number 1 is that Jalen, for the most part, when it came to ball placement, was good the entire game, and this has been his strength most of the year. Besides the interceptions, his ball placement has been good. Even in the first drive when he threw the 3rd down pass, I believe, to Dallas on the sideline, that should have been a pick 6, but he threw it outside and the guy wasn't able to get both hands on it.
Okay, yeah.
He was late with it. Dallas ended up having a hamstring and coming out of the game, right? But just little plays like that, giving AJ a shot down the field, Devontae a shot down the field. His ball placement this year in general has been very good in comparison to most of his years. And you can see that in his completion percentage is up, a little bit. He was hovering almost at 70 for most of the year. Now he's at like 67 or whatever it is. So he's getting better in that area. Now, offensively, we played a very stagnant defense coordinator, even though he brought more pressure than he normally does. It's very, very easy to see what Jim Schwartz does. It's going to be cover 1, cover 3, cover 4, and it's not going to be much disguise. He did do a little bit of it, but at the same time, you're going to be able to read what he's doing. Here's the thing that I'm not overly impressed with the numbers. Jalen was accurate. Yes, Devontae had a good game. Yes, AJ Brown caught a touchdown, had over 100 yards. This is where I am not overly impressed. If you break it down from just looking at it from an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator's perspective. Okay, let's look at our yards. It was a one-on-one outside where we threw the ball up and AJ Brown came down with it. It was a mesh concept where basically that's a one-person read and man-to-man, and guys were getting open that way. Not many times in that game did we go through progression. Did we have to go through progression?
Okay.
Oh, the other positive is that 2 times in that game, maybe 3, but 2 times that I remember, one to Grant Calcaterra, he got the ball out, knew it was blitz, got the ball out. Grant Calcaterra rumble for like 34 yards. That was against the blitz. That was positive by Jalen Hurts. One time he missed the blitz on a 3rd and 1 that as Saquon should have got out on this, should have got the first down on 2nd and 1.
Yep.
He missed. He didn't recognize how fast the blitz was coming. Saquon missed the block, but they still would have got home without that missed block. And he held the ball a little bit too long, got hit in the back, and ended up in a 4th and 9. They ended up kicking a field goal and getting it blocked. He didn't recognize that. But later in the game, he was able to get the ball out in a blitz situation to A.J. Brown on a slant right side, right before Devontae Smith scored the 45-yard touchdown. Right? That was a blitz, and he was able to get it out. So that's a positive for Jalen Hurts. But again, all of those plays were man-to-man. It was a one-on-one situation. It wasn't reading the defense. So I'm uncertain about how good the offense really was or not, because I need to see it versus a more complex defense where it's not, I can just throw it up outside if I want to. I don't have to go through progression. Or if it's man-to-man, I can just do my number 1 read, and that's it. So that was long-winded, but that's my synopsis of the offense.
So let me
we got to run the ball a lot more.
Yeah.
We got to give Saquon a few more touches. He could have hit his head on the goalpost like in the first series, I think it was, first or second series. He tripped on Mailata, and he had a touchdown, 50-yard touchdown there.
Okay. So let me ask you this question.
Sorry, that was long.
Oh no, that's fine, because that's interesting. So I'm curious. So going, kind of going off of that same vein. So, this is a new coordinator. So they're both still trying to figure each other out, right? It's game 5, 6. How deep?
Yeah,
I can't
it's
So
game 5 now.
game 5.
5
How much, from your point of view as an offensive guy, like how long do you think it's going to take until he really takes hold of this system, this new system? Talking about Jalen. Really?
Next year. It's going to take time. It's going to take some time. Here's the thing. You can so everyone that looks at it is like, okay, what's going on with the offense? And the offense is still putting up points, but the way that they're doing it is that they need. I put in my notes because as I watch the game, I jot every play. First down, blah, blah, blah. Second down, but I do it. I put in my notes. And at the end of the drive, when they go to a timeout or, TV commercial, whatever it is, I'll put down like a little bit of something. And I said this. On 3rd down, go route outside, 50-50 ball. No reading the defense, just throw it up. It can be effective, but it's going to be inconsistent. Wow, right? Okay. And then I go on to say that when his first or second read was there, we were fine. And if it was man-to-man, we were fine. And other than that, it wasn't consistent. We couldn't move Cleveland up front with the offensive line. Without Mailata, but at the same time, we weren't moving the ball, moving them up front well. But I just wanted to mention that, like, it's going to take a little bit of time for Jalen in this offense. Let's get something straight. Kellen Moore's had success in Dallas with that. He's had success, out in LA. I can't continue to believe that that it's the offensive coordinator system. I think it's Jalen and his ability to not. I don't want to say pick it up. The offensive coordinator is only going to allow you to do what he think you can do at the moment. And as you show your growth in that system, he begins to open up more.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Jalen isn't like not smart enough to do it. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it at all. What I'm saying is that as he shows and proves that he can handle, now you begin to take the safety harness off, and he's able to go and do it by himself. And I think that he has to get to that point. That may not happen until next year.
Mm, okay.
Okay.
I mean, I'll take that. I'll take it. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's what I think. But another positive that Jalen didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Didn't turn the ball
Absolutely.
over, and Eagles didn't turn the ball over. You give yourself a fighting chance and have. We did have a turnover. It was just a blocked field goal. That's turnover. I don't care what anybody said. And I knew that, so that's turnover. But anyhow, the question for you, Q. Jim
Mhm.
Schwartz was always known as a four-man rush guy, cover one, cover three, back in. This year, he's blitzing a lot more. What do you think of his approach versus the Eagles offense to stop the run or disrupt the pass? What do you think was happening with Jim Schwartz's defense?
Yeah, I think his was to stop the run first.
Mhm.
Kind of load the box, show exotic stunts, exotic fronts, and then take your chances. I think he took a couple chances in some man coverages, and they paid for it. But even then, I mean, like a couple times. I mean, they had everyone on the line, and they I was thinking they were going to drop. There was a couple times they didn't drop. They stayed in their man, their cover, cover one, cover zero pressure, and just brought it. But I did notice, and you kind of hit me to this a few weeks ago when the Eagles played Atlanta. Sometimes when they went to zone, they showed some exotic drops in those zones, like
Mhm.
guys showing up and then dropping to the hook over here, guys showing here, dropping to the hook or the curl over there. So I do think that there is a quote unquote game plan out there for Jalen, and kind of showing from I think this is what most teams are going to try to do. They got to stop the run some kind of way. They got to show some man, and they got to show some type of exotic zone looks and things that Jalen is not used to seeing. Because what we've seen in the past and what we've seen now, and even in this last game, is he, once he sees something that he doesn't like, he is not throwing it over the middle. He refuses to go back. And if you do it enough times early in the game, you can kind of mentally force him to not even look over the middle. So that's what I saw from Jim, and I actually thought, even though he's kind of been in the same place for a while, he's kind of got a stagnant system. I thought he did put together a pretty good game plan to try to slow down this offense.
Yeah, the hold the Eagles. I agree with that. The hold the Eagles to 20 points is a good job as defense coordinator. You win most of those games. You hold the team 20 points. Now your offense is terrible, but again, that's a win in that situation with all that firepower outside, them being without people in the secondary. They did a good job for the most part. And you're right in this sense when it comes to defenses. It's the fire zone pressures and knowing where those drops are coming from. If is the defensive end going to drop out? Is the linebacker going to drop out? Will the safety stay true to this side of cover four? Will he do something else? Like picking that part of the game up for Jalen is the next progression that he has to solve because it's not man to man that he struggles with. It's not one-on-one situations and ball placement. It's being able to know what the defense is doing before the snap, having an idea of what they're doing, and know where to go with the ball. And yeah, so that's where he's going to have to grow because that's where the offense is being held to not sustaining drives consistently. When they throw some of this exotic stuff at him, he doesn't have an answer yet, and we got to get to that point. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Nice.
This next question is also for you, Q. Vic Fangio played Cooper DeJean and nickel the whole game instead of Avante Maddox, and appeared to be to get his linebackers downhill before the snap. Did you notice anything that made the defense look better? Were you generally pleased by the defensive approach, or had this been any other team, would you still be concerned?
Um, Sometimes with any team, with any team, offense, defense, special teams, one player can make a huge difference, and that's what I
Mhm.
saw from Cooper DeJean. Um, Man, gosh, I wish he could have been playing from the beginning of the season. I mean, just watching him, and he's still got some stuff to learn, But talk about
Mhm.
a guy, you can tell that he was well coached at Iowa. You can tell that Kirk Ferentz did a good job with him because he played the game with a lot of poise. He played close to the ball, close to the line of scrimmage. He had speed, he could cover, he pressed guys, he was physical. But to me, the most important and the best thing that he did was he was where he needed to be in the zones. When he was playing zone, I mean, he was dropping, it was perfect drop, perfect leverage. He was taking away routes early. He was getting in the lanes, the passing lanes. And now this Browns offense is not very good, so I get that part of it. But what a difference one player can make. Because now with you have a and I didn't realize how big he is, man. He's a tall, big guy, man. When you got a player that can blitz, that can cover, that can drop in zones, that can, play man, that can do all these different things, it frees you up as a defensive coordinator because now you can you're not having to worry about always being in man or always being in a zone or covering for this guy. You can cut loose and now you can let your linebackers go. Now you can do some more stunts. Now you have trust in your defense. So to me, I think Cooper DeJean in the game and the way he played with the poise and the understanding of his zone drops and where he's supposed to be was a huge part of why this defense looked better and why it looked more aggressive. And I'm excited to see it. And one more thing, they tried him early. Remember in the first half when they threw like a screen and go, like a little fake bubble
Yeah.
block and go,
Hmm.
and they thought they could get the young boy. And like that right there proves to me, like, okay, he's studying film, he's a smart player, he's athletic, and he trusts his ability, and he knows how to play within the scheme. And right there makes all the difference. And so he's going to be a very, very good player. And I wasn't sold on him at first, but after watching him this game, and this he's gonna be just fine.
I was impressed by his game completely, and I'm not trying to be, the negative. I feel like I'm negative jaded at. I was impressed by his game, blitzing, staying in leverage, his ability to tackle. But these are things that I know. I covering Michigan football and meeting Iowa in the Big Ten championship. I've seen them play a lot, so I know that defense is when it comes to zones, they play it like nobody else can play it. Everyone is assignment pure when it comes to playing their cover three, their cover four, their cover six. That's the only three coverages you're going to get. You may get some man every now and again. Then the only three coverages they're going to get. So those three coverages, I know that Cooper DeJean knows how to play those and knows how to play them well. Not just him, Riley Moss for the Denver Broncos. All of these guys are assignment pure when it comes to that because they've had so many reps. They play the same defense. They've been playing the same defense for the last 20 years at Iowa. They've been playing the same three defenses the last 20 years. So they know how to play zone. And so Cooper DeJean is going to be assignment pure there. I'm still waiting for the man-to-man matchups
Yeah.
when he has to line up versus a vertical slot that can run just as well as he can run. Will he go for the head fakes and the shoulder fakes? Will he go for that? Will he keep his leverage then? Um, I want to also see him take on blitzes because they had a bunch of people in Iowa. When I say blitzes, take on a running back and/or when he blitzes, when he goes against somebody, and can he? And I think he can do that, but I want to see it at the NFL level. There's
Yeah.
good defensive back that blitz, and there's others that just get in there. Like they put Slay on the blitz one of these games. I was like, dude, I love my man Slay, but Slay's not a blitzing corner. I love him, but he's not a
KYP.
blitzing. Huh? Yeah.
KYP.
You gotta know your personnel because as a blitzing corner, you got to be a guy that can get underneath a block. You got to be able to play hat and hands. You got to be able to take an edge and continue to push the pocket. So I'm waiting to see that. I want to see his man to man. I want to see him handle somebody that's waiting on him in the backfield, ready to block him, how he takes on that block, and if he can destroy it and get to the quarterback. So those are two things. But I thought he played a great game. He was a sure tackler. And that's nothing that he should be a sure tackle. He played Iowa because that's the only way you got a chance to win. It's to tackle, block. Otherwise, you're not getting the offense. So you got to be good on defense.
I think they scored a few points last weekend.
Oh,
Maybe.
miracle. It is a miracle.
Okay, so next question. This one's for you, Jay.
Okay.
Did you see the game as more of Cleveland's offense stinks or more of the Eagles' defense was good?
Here's the thing that I did like. I like that the defensive backfield was closer to receivers. They even Gardner Johnson even played up. Now he still backpedaled out on a lot of them.
Yeah.
So and I was like, dude, if you're gonna get up there, get up there. Like if you're gonna get up there, like impede his progress, right? And he's still learning that. He was able to break up a play, a slant. Got a few of them caught on him, but they are starting to challenge a little bit more, and they're not giving up as easy of plays. I like Vic Fangio being aggressive in the blitz, especially when they were backed up. And I think it was a Deshaun Watson thing. I think it's because he was playing Deshaun Watson. He realized that every team pressures him, and he doesn't do well versus pressure. So I think that's why Vic Fangio was a little bit more aggressive this game. So I like what I saw in that aspect. But again, it's the Cleveland Browns. They came into the game with, leading the league and giving up sacks, leading the league, and a bunch of negative categories. So I thought the defensive scheme was now here. I thought it was better. Still needs improvement. There was guys running free Q.
Yeah.
There were guys running free most of the game. Deshaun Watson couldn't get the ball to him, didn't see him, but there was guys running right free.
Yeah.
And that's true.
That's
What
true.
about you?
Yeah, no. I agree. Same thing. It's again, I see the progress. I see um I'll take anything. Anything other than just sitting back in the cover six or cover nine or whatever. I'll take anything. So I love the stunts. I love the pressure. I love the press coverage. Um, it just looked like growth
It looked
to
better.
me. It looks better. That's
Shout
it.
out to Jomo. Shout out to Jalen Carter and the defensive line. We had a Bryce Huff sighting. He had a half a sack. He got a pressure earlier in that game. I think it was the first play of the game. Like there was a bunch of things that Bryce Huff then came up. Let's go. You need a bye week. You gotta give me a bye week every week. Like it.
Oh man.
Man, I think that may help their confidence going forward. But just think about it. The Eagles had 6 sacks coming into the game. They had 5 in that game.
Yes, 6 sacks going into the game.
6 sacks going in. They had 5. In that one game, they have 11 sacks on the season. They're 25th in the NFL with 11 sacks. So just think of
Wow.
how far they were down before that. Guess who's number 1 in the NFL in sacks?
I looked this up, I think. Giants?
The Giants are. Dexter Lawrence is killing people. A defensive tackle with 6 sacks is unheard of.
That is
So
insane.
we got a lot. The Giants are. People think the Giants are just. The Giants are, just a pushover. They're not a pushover because their defensive line gets after it. They
Absolutely.
got Brian Burns. They have how do you say his name? Alaria. I can't say his name.
I can't
But
say
you,
it.
but a good player. Thibodeau. You got a bunch of guys in there that are, getting after the quarterback, right? So,
Ojulari.
Ojulari. I can't always say his name, but they got guys getting after it. Their safety has like 3 or 4 sacks. Pinnock, I think he has like 3 sacks or something like that. Yeah, so they got guys getting after it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I
All
hate the
right.
Giants, but
We're going to get into you guys' questions. We always like to, leave the last portion of the show for you and your questions. This one, Q, and you take the next one, Q. This
yep.
one's from Benjamin Cohen. Just like last season, the Eagles seem to be in a mode where the players on offense and defense use their obvious talent to do just enough to win. They don't seem motivated to truly blow out teams. This leaves them vulnerable for the last minute scoring drives, stupid turnovers, and unlucky breaks. Does this seem accurate to you? If so, does it reflect on the players, the coaches, or both? How can it turn around?
Oh, listen, man, that's a tough question. I mean, having played in the league, yes, this team is very, very talented. Um, they're good, especially on offense. They have a ton of talented players. They have a very good line, good quarterback, good skill positions, very talented. But this is the NFL, man. Everybody's good, right? Everyone's good. These are grown men on both sides. They get paid too. So do I think it's not like Pop Warner or high school where there's a clear discrepancy? Like, yes, AJ Brown is good, very good. But yes, there's defensive backs out there that can D him up. There's defensive ends that can, give Lane Johnson fits. There's defensive coordinators that can give Jalen Hurts fits. So um, every game is not going to be a blowout. And just because a team, just because the Eagles don't blow everyone out, it doesn't mean, in my eyes, it doesn't mean that, they're not giving it their all, or they're just screwing around or this or that. It's just sometimes teams have good game plans. Sometimes there's injuries. There's a lot that goes into making it to each Sunday. And so, um, that's why we say, man, a win is a win, is because it takes so much to get to Sunday to Sunday. It takes so much work, so much preparation. You wouldn't believe how much preparation goes into a week, into, playing a game. And so, I don't like to shortcome on any of those type of plays, or I mean on any of those type of wins. I mean, a win is a win, and that's the reason they say it, for a reason, because it's not easy to do. Would I like better execution every week? Yes, everybody would. All the coaches would. But um I you know,
Yeah.
that's a hard question to answer, man. That's a tough one, to be honest with you.
I agree with Benjamin with everything except for they don't seem motivated to blow teams out. I don't think that you can just blow NFL teams out.
Yeah,
And that's
that's
what I think that you're saying. It's just tough to blow teams out. We should have played a lot better
yes.
against the Browns. Now, a blowout and playing well, whatever that means, maybe you should win by more than one score against the Browns. But just to assume that you're going to go out there and 47-9 somebody, it just rarely happens. You have to have a lot of things go right, a few balls go your way, and an excellent game plan, and things just go right that night. So I get what you're saying. However, I kind of spoke earlier about it in the show, Benjamin, is that yes, we rely on talent a little bit too much in situations. Like, for an example, to close out that game, we rely on a second down to AJ Brown just throw a ball up, or sometimes if it's not in the best interest of the offense on that possession, oh, AJ Brown has a semi chance to catch this goal route down the field. That's a low percentage throw. And guess what happens? If Denzel Ward is playing him in that moment in time, it may not be completed. Or the next week when they have a better corner, or whatever may be, it gets tipped up in the air. Now it's so do you take those chances? Yes, in situations. And this is when you take those chances. Everything is even. There's man to man across the board. It's first and second down. I have another down. I may want to take that on first and second down, right? Or if it's third down and we call that. But we have to learn how to just run the offense and get the higher completion percentage throw. That ball is completed less than 14% of the time.
Mhm.
So it's not something that we can hang our hat on. Can anybody hang their hat on 14%? I can hang my hat on 14% of anything, right? I don't want those odds. If I go to you and say, "Hey, let's put a little bit of money on this game. We got a 14% chance of winning," you be like, "Man, get the hell out of here." So that's the same thing with that go ball down the sideline. I know we're enamored by it, and it's AJ Brown, but it's not something you can sustain offense with. I like it when it's completed, just like everybody else does. But I know that you can't sustain. So let's get to going through progressions. And so, yes, that's when we start to rely on talent rather than getting to the open guy. And the open guy looks like whoever it is in the moment. So that means that it could be Dallas Goedert, it could be Kyle Katerra, it could be Jack Stoll, it can be Jahan Dotson. I don't care who that person is, but get it to the open person and everybody eats. And that's when a quarterback is going to a different level. And that's what I see from the team.
Church.
Yeah.
I love it.
You got it, kid.
Okay, all right. So this one, okay, next question. This is from Chad Cool Harris.
Cool.
Cool. You had to put that one in there. I love that. So this is for Jay. How would you attack NFL teams as an offensive coordinator with this group that we have this year? What would be your bread and butter?
So
That's a good question.
that is. So one, I just think that I would have a hierarchy, right? So I would probably go to our coaching staff and it's like, hey, listen, this is the pecking order. And this is something that you guys that you can establish with the players. I just think it's about pecking order. Okay, our number one priority above everything else is to be able to run the football and get Saquon at least 20 touches. Whether it be passing and runs, I want to get him at least 20 touches. Right? So let's devise a game plan that's Saquon focused. When we pass the ball, the focus is going to be AJ Brown, number one, and then Devontae Smith as a 1BB, right?
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put that into this. I want Devontae Smith running all of my in breaking routes in the middle. I want him running shallow crosses. I want him as the second target on all of my passes. So on AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, mainly, 1 and 2 in all my progressions.
Okay.
Now, I think that'll take care of a lot. Now, here's the other thing that I would do. I would do more quarterback design runs.
Okay.
I think Jalen does better when he's when he can get some yards. Like they had the QB quick draw going a little bit this game. So I would have more quarterback design runs, not read options, quarterback design runs. Where it's a quarterback sweep, where it's a quarterback counter, whatever it may be, quarterback design runs.
Okay.
The other thing I would do is make this more rollout and more play action down the field offense rather than a West Coast.
Makes sense.
Right? So we run the ball, we play action, we hit deep crosses, we hit flat routes, we hit posts, we hit those things. On third downs, that's where my man-to-man stuff comes in. That's where my route concepts are. But first and second down is basically the Ravens.
Ooh. Okay.
And third down is when we get tricky.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Nice. All right.
Okay.
I like it. It's funny you say that. And then I'll kind of roll this into the next one. But it's funny because the other day I was just, I think it was last week, I was just kind of messing around on like ProReference.com. It's a cool website that keeps stats and stuff. And I was looking at the Eagles, and it said, if you look at the page for the Eagles, it said, offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, and it said offensive style, Eric Coryell. And I was like, what the heck is that? I never heard of Eric Coryell. And I started kind of went down a rabbit hole researching this. But what was his name? Don Coryell. It was his system, which it was like kind of a branch off of the West Coast system, which his system was really the West Coast, what they called the West Coast offense, and then it kind of went to Jim Walsh. His system, but that's another thing. But the Air Coryell system is exactly what you were talking about: run, play action, deep shots, stuff like that. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting when you said that to me because I'm like, that's exactly what Kellen Moore's offense is supposed to look like, is what you were describing. So
it's
that's.
supposed to, but yeah.
But maybe we'll get to that, man.
We'll
Maybe.
get to that. This question is for you, Q. 6 weeks into the season, it seems like we're still having identity issues. Is it too late for the team to find their identity? And
No,
this is
it
also from Chad Cool Harris.
okay. Yeah, that was great. Couple great questions. I don't think it's too late. I mean, you would hope that by now we'd find it. But y- you know, with so much change that happened with this team in the last year, it's understandable. You lost a couple of, you lost Kelsey, you lost two coordinators. So
Let
that's understandable that this team is still trying to search for an identity. We think our coach found it this week. He found his identity back, right? So he's gonna be out there talking trash.
a
Um,
troll. His identity is a troll. Go ahead.
Hey, if that's what works, man, that's what works. So I don't think it's too late. I think they're gonna find it. I think it's gonna take a little more time, like you said. We might not get it until next year when we get to put more of the offense together. I think that Fangio's starting to find some of the guys that he likes. He's starting to see some of the things that he likes in some of his pieces and his players, and he's kind of putting those puzzles together. So I think I'm gonna give it probably another 3 or 4 games, and I think this team will hopefully have a more solid identity and moving forward understand where they're supposed to be and what they want to do.
Q.
Pray.
This is my question before we get to the last question. Trade deadline. Eagles make a move, and if they
Yeah,
do make a move, what do you think is going to happen?
gotta get a pass rusher. Um, I think this game showed what could happen, but I don't know if, like you said, I don't know if Fangio wants to always have to rely on all the stunts and movement and pressures. I think he's a straight. He likes to play a lot of coverage and let the front do the work. And now that I think that he's got his key piece, which is Cooper in that nickel position, and you got Slay coming back, and you're getting healthy. Oh, by the way, Keely Ringo, I was not familiar with your game, but oh my God, on that hit on the sideline.
Yeah,
Oh,
he can hit.
sorry,
That was it. He got to cover a little bit
I
better,
was
but yeah, that's it.
listen, man, that hit made me stand up, and that don't happen very often when I'm watching the game. Oh, ooh, ooh. All right, so anyway, I digress, but yeah, he's got his pieces, and so I think we got to get a pass rusher, and I don't know if that'll happen. Maybe we'll get Reddick. Maybe we'll bring him back home. No,
This,
he got new agents, man.
he
Maybe they're
did get
friends
new
with
agents.
Howie.
He not coming back here. But I agree with you with pass rush. Also think we need a safety on defense.
Man, we could put Keely at safety the way that boy hit and put him at
I'm
safety.
just I'm sorry, we may need a safety on defense. I think we may. I think we
I
may.
know. I know it.
I'm
I
not
know.
I'm not sure. We may though. We may. If you smell what I'm cooking.
Oh
All
yeah, I
right, here
know.
we go. From all right, from Lionel, or just Lion L. We just put it in there. We don't know if it's Lion L or Lionel. All right, for both you guys, do you guys feel like Jalen has a problem reading the field? It feels like he predetermines who he's going to before the ball is snapped instead of making the proper read. His throws feels forced. You want me to cover that first?
You got it.
All right. So I don't think that it's necessarily. All right. Let's break it down like this. Jalen understands defenses. If you put him on the board and you say, hey, what's the cover two? What's the cover four? What's cover six? What's cover one? What's cover five? What's combo coverage? How they're going to play this? What's his responsibility? I believe that he can go through all of those coverage and tell you exactly what he needs to do in those situations, right? The thing is that they're creating things for him that's making it a lot challenging, right? And they're moving people around up front and they're doing a great job of disguising. I don't know if he has a great sense of the offense and knowing where guys are, right? So there was something that, and I'm not comparing Tom to Jalen because you can't, but Tom knew he didn't just he didn't just know it to just talk about it. Okay, I have this side is taken away because of this coverage. Okay, I'm going to be over here. It's not covered. Tom would throw a check down almost not looking. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
He just, knowing where the check down is or where the outlet throw is like the best part of playing quarterback. Knowing where the outlet is. Up, I eliminated this with my brain. I have this side. They didn't win. Up, I got a check down that should be open. He would throw it without even looking at it. So I don't think he has a grasp on the offense in that way of knowing what everybody is. I think he has a general idea, but do I think that he knows number 4 backside is should pop in this coverage? No, I don't necessarily think he knows that because I don't think he's familiar with it. And let's give him a little bit, and I don't always do this, I got to give him a little bit of leeway because from what I hear, it's Nick Sirianni's offense, it's Brian Johnson's offense, it's Shane Steichen, and now it's Kellen Moore. There's been a lot of revolving doors, a lot of different philosophies, and I think all of that information coupled with people trying to trick him makes it hard for him.
I agree. No,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I listen, man. I don't have anything to add to that. That was spot on. I, I, yeah, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to take nothing away from it. That was awesome.
Yeah. No, it's all
But
good.
I will say this. I don't know. I don't know. So I don't know how hard it is to play quarterback in the NFL, but it's got to be probably one of the hardest things. I would say DB, I would say cornerback, I would say quarterback, and then cornerback are probably the two hardest positions to play in the NFL. And it sounds easy, and I'm just trying to. Uh,
No.
I'm not trying to give him an excuse. I'm not trying to give him an excuse,
But no, go ahead.
but because he gets paid a lot of money. But when you're a quarterback in this league in today's world with the athletes and the schemes, and it's not easy, man. It's not easy, and I hate, and it's hard for me to say this because I can't stand quarterbacks. I hate offense. I don't like you guys. You guys always, that whole deal. But it's it's hard, man. And so my hat goes off to him. We give a lot of criticism to him. Um, Hopefully he can put it together, man. Because we've been rooting for this man. We've been pulling for this guy for a long time, and I hate to see him struggling at times. And so I'm just happy they've got a good win. That's it. I'm sorry, I kind of went on a
No,
tangent.
you're fine. You're fine. Let's and I'm gonna I'll follow up with this with what you said. Here's the thing. We're starting to see a few different types of quarterbacks. You see a quarterback, it's only a few that can come in and light it up. It's only a few.
True.
And guess what? Even though they come in and light it up, the NFL catches up and they have to continue to grow. We
Oh
saw
yeah.
a down year with Josh Allen. We've seen a down year with Joe Burrow. We'll see a down year with CJ Stroud. We'll see a down year with Jaden Daniels. We'll see this because the NFL is constantly progressing. And everyone, we've seen Kyler Murray kill it this first year, and then he hadn't been the same, right? We've seen Robert Griffin do the same thing. So the NFL adapts and changes, and you have to be willing to continue your education. It's sort of like being in the medical field in this sense, nothing like it as far as education is concerned. But when it comes to continued education, you have to know the latest technology in order to continue to be the most effective physician or whatever it is that's in your field. It's the same way. So there's a resurgence of some of these guys, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker
Mhm.
Mayfield. Guess what? All of these guys have in common. They played in these run and shoot, scan, head coach in college basically pimps you for your talent. Doesn't
Mm.
really teach you anything, but you're athletic. You can move around a little bit. You can make some things happen if you scan, and you can win a national championship like that. You become good, and they can win, and they don't have to teach you anything. When you come to the NFL, it doesn't work, and therefore you are a quote unquote bust unless you stay around and develop. So Jalen is having the chance to develop within the league, and I think that it's about that time to start to see the fruits of this development, right? When you start getting to this fifth, sixth year, now we start to realize, okay, this is what he's going to be, and this is not what he's going to be. It's not like he's in his first, second year, he didn't have the chance. Now he's later in that timetable. We just need to see him take that next step and be able to figure it out. And being in the same offense helps you out a lot. And he hadn't had that luxury.
Wow, that's an excellent point, man. Excellent point.
All right. We want to say thank everybody that's tuning in to the Q&A show. Thank you to Adam and to Jeff and to Josh and Jason, everyone there inside the Birds, and to everyone that that watches us faithfully every week. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we gave you some insights, a little nugget that you can use in the barbershop and or talking to your neighbor tomorrow, wherever it may be. Thank you guys for tuning in. Q, you got the last word.
What? I can't
Let's
hear
go.
See you guys next week. Much love.